Hi, my name is David Safin, Associate Professor of Digital Art and Media here at St. Vincent College. This is my office, and these are my office hours. As you know, the goal of our little show is to introduce you to creative talent and bring some of their good work into your living rooms. Today, I'm welcoming two gentlemen to the show, Reilly McKay, St. Vincent College class of 2025, and Will Radan, St. Vincent College class of 2023. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing awesome.
That's just great. That's just great to hear. We're here today to talk about a project that you guys completed called The Writer's Room. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. But before we dive into that, I wanted to just let the audience get to know you. So I'm going to ask you guys both the same question. I'm going to start with you, Reilly. Can you tell us where you're from and why you're interested in making films?
Sure. My name's Reilly. I'm from Ligonier, Pennsylvania. And why I'm interested in making films is, honestly, I just really love entertaining people, whether that's making people laugh, making them cry, although I prefer not to make them cry on like that. But I just like telling stories. I like telling stories a lot and entertaining people. So that's why I like to make films.
What about you, Will?
Hi. Yeah, I'm pretty much same as him. My name is Will Radan. I started making movies towards senior year of high school. And, after my father passed, it kind of gave me some inspiration to go towards that direction. I always watch movies with him. So, yeah, no, it's kind of just a natural progression. I always like being creative, writing, directing, whatnot. But, movies are the way.
And where are you from, Will?
Pittsburgh,
PA. All right, so we're going to talk about the writer's room today. So, Reilly, let's start with you. Can you tell us where this idea came from?
Yeah, so I was sad one day, and I'm fine now. I'm fine. But I was sad one day, and I was listening to this song that I found. It's called like the First Kiss song, and there's a certain instrumental part to it where it's just a gradual buildup. And I heard that song and I was like, wow, I could really just imagine like two characters who just, something happened and one wants forgiveness and the other one wants to just move on with his life. And so I thought of that, and I thought of a couple different scenarios. I thought of it in like a relationship setting and in a professional work setting until finally I settled on just like the idea of two friends coming together. And then I pitched it over. I called Will as soon as I got the general idea of it. And I was like, Will, I got this idea for a movie. What do you think? And you want to take over from there?
Yeah, no, I was driving. I remember the call very well. He was talking very fast, so I knew it was like something good was there. But he called me. He was like, I have an idea, two writers. He had the writer's room idea already. And he asked me if, would you want to help me write and direct and, star in this movie? And I was like, yeah, we've done projects in the past, but this was our first one really as a collective, unit. We wrote it, we directed it, we edited it. It's always tough to say, but we did it all together. It was a completely, like a 50-50 endeavor, which I really think, shows in the movie, because I think it's, it's our best work to date.
Yeah, I think the best way to categorize it is kind of a bromantic comedy, the coming together, in this case of a bromance. And that's a lead into that first scene I want to show everybody. It is near the beginning of the film, where you two come together in this creative space. So why don't we take a second and let our audience see how these two friends and collaborators come together.
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing much, just trying to put some pen to paper and at,
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah. Hey, I read one of your scripts the other day in our screenwriting class.
What, Alien Disco?
Yeah. It was really weird, but it was good as hell, man. You have a serious talent.
Dude, seriously, like, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Shh. Bro, what? Library's that way. I'm just trying to talk to my boy. Anyway, I meant it, man. You're really good. Have you ever considered making a movie?
Yeah. I mean, that would honestly be my dream, but I've always kind of just considered myself more of a writer.
Bro, same. I've written some scripts myself, and I'd love for you to take a look at them if you want. I feel like I'm just missing that one special something, like that extra cherry on top.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Oh, I never caught your name. I'm Ern.
I'm Danny.
Jagoffs.
All right, welcome back. Really enjoyed looking at that clip, and I also enjoyed seeing where that scene took place, which is our Mac lab, the Prep Hall Mac lab here at St. Vincent College. So, Will, can you tell me about that space? Like, is that a place where you think dynamics like that can sort of spring out? Is that a room where you do think you can find some creative inspiration?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, a lot of this film was based on, Reilly and I's relationship, not as much like the fighting and punching and whatnot, but the good parts were really based and rooted in kind of how we met and everything like that. Like it wasn't in that space, but in the editing lab in the downstairs of the library at St. Vincent. I think me and Reilly have both spent way too much time in there as a collective unit, just trying to figure stuff out, whether it be, for school or for other projects or stuff like that. But no, I mean, I really do think that that creative space and that kind of awkward first interaction, tension, and it's endearing to a certain extent. And I'm really glad I met my buddy here.
One thing I was really impressed with, and obviously you two are no strangers to this office, this building. I was really impressed with the speed with which you guys made this. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, this was written and produced and edited and premiered within the confines of a semester, maybe even half a semester. So Reilly, can you talk to us about that process? Like, how were you able to make this so quickly?
Yeah, it was so the total time frame was a month exactly.
Wow.
30 days from the idea to the premiere. And it was pretty wild because I was dealing with a lot of other responsibilities. I'm an RA on campus. I also do a couple side editing jobs on the side. So planning was a big part of this. We wanted to be efficient with our time because we didn't have a lot of it.
And Will, can you talk about the organization? I mean, it wasn't just you two. I mean, as you saw in that first scene, there was an army of extras in there, and even in the scene we're going to watch here in a couple minutes, there's a lot of cooperation from people who don't have the level of engagement you do. I mean, they're just there to go along for the ride, but it still takes a lot of time. Will, how do you get people to do that? How do you make that ask, and how do they come to say yes to that?
It's really just, it's as simple as like, would you want to be in a movie? Like, would you want to be like an extra in a movie? Would you want to help us out? Like, it's like, you basically pitch it as like, you can't mess up. You know what I mean? Like it sucks to say to people, but like, you're a background extra for this part. I would love to do something in the future where you're the star. If they're, if they have a future in acting like that. And that's like an example in the scene you just saw with Jack. Like, Jack wants to be an actor. And originally he was just supposed to be kind of like a background thing, but it's like, let's give the film a little bit of, levity, a little bit of light. So examples like that are all throughout this film. And a lot of this, I will say, a lot of this film is just me and Reilly like on screen, but like that is not the case for like the production of it. Like there's so many people that this like couldn't have happened without. Like Kieran, he came up with some of the best shots and just really creative suggestions that helped the movie be what it is today. Like Gibby, he's always a hand on set. The boys at Ski 19 Films, Marcus and Derek, we both worked for them in an internship setting, and they really helped us out with, just like brutal but very like good notes. Like when we would send them like the final cut, they really helped us boil it down to what it exactly needed to be. But yeah, it's really just, it's a matter of basically like knowing what you need to get and learning how to basically take what's in here and put it out there and explain it to people. And like, so it's not just like, all right, do this and this, and then you just, you basically have a plan that you can fall back on.
Yeah, one thing that one of the many things that impressed me about this wasn't just the compressed amount of time that it took to make it, but it was also very cinematic. It didn't feel necessarily like a student independent study project. I mean, there was a lot of care and thought that went into the shots, the lighting, the sound, the use of stock footage. I don't think you went to Hollywood to get that shot, but there's a shot that we're going to see here in a second that really brings the relationship full circle. It is at the other end of the film where Reilly's character has kind of hit it big, and he's about to have this sort of big premiere. And it's a really, really well executed tracking shot that takes you through the backstage of our theater. And I wanted to make sure that everybody got to see that. So let's check that out.
Mr. Smith, the stage is set. Kiss me on my Hershey.
Mr. Smith, red or blue?
Blue.
Mr. Smith, Bill Murray's on line 3.
Tell him I'll call him back. Right on 17, put some clothes on. What the hell are you doing? Turn that off!
Oh, Danny, there you are. For this Q&A, you want me on your left or right side?
Where are your pants? Find them and put them on.
So that is really a stunning clip. I mean, the preparation that had to go behind that, the choreography, the staging, it was really, really impressive. I remember the first time I saw it, I really couldn't believe what I was watching. So, Will, can you tell us how you were able to do that? I mean, how many takes was it? How much pre-planning went into it? Walk us through that walking shot.
Yeah, no, I can even tell you like the inception of it, because while me and Reilly were writing the film, we kind of wrote it to like not be simple, but like, basically it's like each chapter of the film is us talking in a room. Like that's like the entire film. So we wanted something to like kind of challenge us. Like neither of us have ever done like a oneer like that or anything. And, we both love Scorsese and all the Goodfellas tracking shots and all that kind of stuff. So we really wanted to challenge ourselves with it. But yeah, that was a whole day, which I'm very glad we did. That was upon Reilly's suggestion too. I operated the camera for that shot, and it was about, I'd probably say like 2.5, 3 hours spent in the theater, like from the moment we got there to setting up the lights and everything like that. I think what you saw there was probably take 10 out of take 11.
Wow.
And the first like 4 was very much just like finding our footing. There's one where it's like, oh, there's me in the mirror, you know, seeing like reflections, stuff like that. That's kind of why I like go under like Reilly's hair when he's like, you know, exiting into the other theater section. And yeah, but I'd say by take 8, like takes 8, 9, 10, 11, they were all like usable, but something about that take, just everything flowed together very well. Everybody hit their mark. It was a thing of beauty. And every take ends, like I have them all saved somewhere, but it's just like, you can tell by my breath if it was good or not. It's like, no, like, because I'm like holding my breath the whole time. I'm on a gimbal, just following him, and very much just like sweating. And I was very proud of that. I thought it turned out very beautiful.
Reilly, can you talk about sort of the direction, you know, that sort of staging, the blocking?
Yeah, so like I kind of texted a bunch of people and I was like, hey, do you want to be like how Will was talking about earlier? Like, hey, do you want to be in a movie? And I was like, do you want to be in Will and I's movies? And so we got about 5, 7 people show up. And so we just kind of found jobs for them to do to look busy. Our one friend, Spencer, is just drinking milk that he found in the fridge there. It also sped up the process having 2 people collaborating on this because, you know, one could focus on the technical side while one could focus on the interpersonal side with the actors and stuff. And there's one part of it where the light comes on my character and I go, turn that off. The person who operates that light is Kieran, the guy who comes in and gets me he's like, says the stage is set. So he actually goes and then he immediately takes off and he does a loop around the theater to get to his mark. So by the time that I get there, he's manning the light and he turns it on and then turns it off at that point. And then I go off and talk to our friend Braden Gibson. And so just being able to tinker with it and find the sweet spot was pretty cool. And once we got, like Will said, take 8, 9, 10, 11, it was at a very good spot. And, you know, like I remember doing the look off and just trying to like keep a straight face as I just hear Will go, no. Or like, yes.
That last one I gave like a huzzah. Like, I was pumped.
Yeah, so it was very cool, very rewarding to see the whole process come together.
Yeah, it did. I'm glad you mentioned there, Will. Scorsese, of course, that feels like the shot from Goodfellas. Also, you know, Rope, Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, or things like Birdman or Gravity, where it is let's have that sort of realist approach where we're not necessarily focused on editing, but just sort of using the camera to navigate through a space. And seeing all those characters sort of pop in with their little moments, I thought worked really well. And I think it fosters a community. I think everybody who appears in that now wants to see them. They want to see their part. They want to hear their joke. They want to, you know, see how it worked and how it landed, and finally how it looks on a big screen. So you guys had a premiere, I believe, on campus before the end of the spring semester. So Reilly, why don't you tell us how that went? I mean, what was the response? How many people came? Did you get any feedback?
Yeah, for sure. The premiere was Will's idea. He came up with the idea for it. The Rowdy Radan Showcase is what we called it, because my production company is called Rowdy Dog Pictures and his is Radan Entertainment. So it was a kind of cool little combination of the two. But about, I want to say maybe like 20, 30 people showed up. Right about that, would you say?
40 max, I'd say.
25 to 40 people showed up. There was a lot of people that came, and it was friends, family, some random people that were passing by and heard some loud noises and just decided to stop on in. So it was really cool to see, and we got really, really cool feedback. We got, you know, stuff as surface level as it was really good, to really in-depth compliments like, Will, Reilly, your acting was incredible, especially in the one scene. And it was really cool to kind of see the community come together to support us, you know, because we obviously put a lot of time and effort into this project, and to see the fruits of it, to see people support us and shower us with praise and compliments was really, really, truly a blessing. And I loved the experience. I loved being able to share that with Will. And I remember walking back to our car afterwards, and Will was just like, "This is it, brother. We did it." You know, it was just, it was just a cool experience, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it can only happen once. You can only have a premiere once, and we're in this age now of the YouTube video, the Vimeo video, where you guys don't get to feel a response. I mean, would you rather have 100 views on YouTube or 40 people sitting in a theater watching it together? Because the stakes are so much higher. You know that they're watching it all the way through. You know the beats that you want to work. So, Will, can you talk about that? I know you have a lot of videos that perform well online, but what's that feeling like when it's you in a room with people feeling it through them?
Yeah, no, I mean, being in a room with people and like, moments hitting the way that you always envisioned them, like hitting, like, whenever Gibby doesn't have his pants on, like that gets a big laugh. And like you always assume like maybe it didn't get a laugh, whenever somebody said they watched it on YouTube or something like that. But I mean, really, I know, Safin, you love the theater experience, the shared communal aspect of just like watching a movie with a group of strangers or people, there's something beautiful about just kind of turning your brain off and watching a movie. And I think with this, it really did like kind of look like a movie too. So it was a lot easier for people to kind of forget it's, Reilly and I, it's, these are characters, these are Danny and Ern, and this is this story, not just like a short, like skit film, you know what I mean? Me and Reilly have both done stuff like that. And I think this was more of a kind of a mature film, kind of something to test ourselves. And yeah, I think that theater experience was really kind of like the cherry on top of everything.
Yeah, it's the size, the scope, it is quite different. Can be intimidating when you see yourself on that screen, but there's also that joy in knowing that people's eyes are kind of sutured to the experience you're giving them. In films, I love scenes when people are connected in that way. The Shawshank Redemption, when the music's playing and they're all frozen looking up, or any movie where they're watching fireworks, something like The Sandlot or Adventureland, when you just see people frozen, all connected through this one experience. And that's the theater experience that you just can't replicate that with a YouTube video. Nothing against YouTube videos or Vimeo videos, but that communal experience is I think really one of a kind, like you said. So that really leads me into asking, where can we find this? It's obviously online. So if someone is watching this episode and like they want to go watch this film, where would you send them?
Well, both of our YouTube channels. So my YouTube channel is Rowdy Dog Pictures,
and mine is Radan Entertainment. It doesn't matter which one you watch it on, honestly. Give us both a like, but for right now, that's its permanent home. Give us a review. Give us anything you like.
Yeah, I think people would really enjoy it. I hope that it does help you get some views and get some exposure there. Yeah. So we're nearing the end, and so whenever we get to the end of this program, I like to have my guests answer a little questionnaire. So I'm going to ask you both the same question and go back and forth. So we'll start with Reilly, then Will and Reilly, and we're going to work our way through 4 questions that are all film related. So we'll start with you, Reilly. What movie makes you laugh?
What movie makes me laugh is The Nice Guys, starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. And that movie, whenever Ryan Gosling breaks his hand and he just goes, oh! Gets me every time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Will, what movie makes you laugh?
We were just talking about it before this, but I love Semi-Pro. It was one of the first movies I saw where I like cried laughing, and I just remember, I remember so much of that movie. And I'll also throw The Big Lebowski in there too. But I'd say Semi-Pro is a very underrated movie. Not a lot of people have seen it. Do yourself a favor, watch Semi-Pro.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, Woody Harrelson. It's a basketball movie. It's bizarre. It's funny. Yeah, if you can find that, I would recommend it. That movie's hysterical. All right, so Will, you're up. You're going to start with what movie makes you cry?
Oh, There's a lot of weird stuff that makes me cry. Like I'm a nerd, so like I'll see Avengers Endgame and cry at that. But I'd say more traditional movies that make me cry. Beautiful Boy is a movie with Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet, and it just deals with, you know, drugs and addiction in a very, you know, real way. And another Steve Carell movie I would say is Loma Sunshine. Is just like 10 out of 10, wouldn't change a frame. Makes me cry every time.
Reilly, what movie makes you cry?
For me, it's A Wonderful Life gets me every single time. It's at the end whenever it's like no one's truly alone who has friends, and I was like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And I was just watching this last Christmas, and my mom like looks over at me, and there's a couple tears like on my face, and she's like, "Are you crying, Reilly?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, when what Harry says to my big brother George, the richest man in town, that's like, yo.
Yeah, I get feels right now, and it's not even the movie; it's just you.
I do that to people. All right, so Reilly, I'm going to start with you in this one. What movie scares you?
So this one was that's a tough question because I don't like scary movies a whole lot, but I will watch them. The one movie that did like unsettle me a lot and like scared me was Us by Jordan Peele. That one was like, it was the right amount of thriller and also just kind of like jump scares almost. And I was like, oh, what if there's someone that looks just like me walking around being crazy and all that? But that one, Us by Jordan Peele.
Will.
I'm a big horror guy. I love like the new wave of like A24 horror films, like Jordan Peele and Robert Eggers and Ari Aster. But I did write something down here. There's a movie called Fear and Desire. Not a lot of people know about it, but it was Stanley Kubrick's first movie. He made it when he was 25 years old, and like he even said it stinks. Like I watched it, it's not that good. And I just find that like scary in like a non-traditional way, where it's like, you know, like I one day would like to make a feature film, and it's just interesting to think like not everybody has their Reservoir Dogs or their 12 Angry Men. Like a lot of people start out, you know, making what they think is like gospel, but it's really, you know, it's not that good, but you could still make The Shining at the end of the day. So I would put that there.
All right, final question. I'm going to start with Will. What movie inspires you?
That is tough. I will say, just for the pure production of it, we would always even say this like on long nights, like Whiplash was shot in 19 days. So if you're ever like lagging on like sending an email or like doing something, just remember Whiplash was shot in 19 days. It's a very beautiful Damien Chazelle movie, but I'd also put Superbad really inspired me to get into filming and writing, because, you know, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the writers for that, started writing that when they were like 13, 14 years old. And they kind of just took what was in their life and like put it in a movie, which I've always like really liked and just admired like how they did that. And it kind of speaks to the relationship of this film too, because it's like two writers going through it. This is more drama based, but yeah, I'd say Superbad.
Reilly, what movie inspires you?
For me, I have to go with The Truman Show. You know, I love that ending line of, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That gets me. I'm like, oh man, he's going out of the world to experience his life. Like, it's time for me to do that, you know? And like, I don't know. I love The Truman Show. And there's just one more that I really love too, is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Underrated.
With Ben Stiller. I love that movie. It's a great, you know, taking life by the reins type of story. And, you know, I love that. It makes me want to do the same. So.
Well, thank you both. It's always nice when somebody writes the conclusion for us, for our little show here. So we've reached the end. And so I want to thank you both for coming on and talking with me and in my office here. And for everybody watching, in case we don't see you, let's all say it together.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
See you next time. Catch you later.
See ya.